Welcome back. So what does this have to do with design thinking? Well, as with all things in this process, we want to start from a place of empathy. To write a proper email, we need to use that design thinking skill and empathize. Empathize with our subject, our end user, our recipient. And in my experience, one of the failures of empathy for all people comes from not recognizing that there is more to the experience than just your interaction. So to stick with the professor example, yes, we are here to teach you, but we also conduct research. We also engage in acts of service, not only service to the college, but to the profession and the community overall. So how do we use empathy, particularly in our emails? And to do so requires some metacognition. What is the email we would want to receive? Not just that, but what is the email we would want to receive if we were in their shoes? And two things tend to be true. Most of us like being addressed by our names, whether assigned or chosen, and most of us like not having to do extra work. And certainly, we do extra work. We are happy to answer questions, provide favors, but we don't want to have to trudge to get there, whether it's answering something that's readily available or deciphering what the question even is. Which brings us to our next design thinking component, defining the problem space. Now in design thinking, we talk about defining your user's needs, your user's problems, and what insights you can bring to them. But here we kind of flip that on its head because you're the one writing the email. What are your needs and your problems, and how can your professor bring insights to you? And this goes back to components 6 and 9 of that email template we looked at last video. What is the reason you're even sending this? What is your goal from getting this email? And can you restate that problem at the end just to be ultra clear? In other words, what do you want out of completing this task? And finally, we can think of design thinking not just as these sets of components of empathy and definition, but as a process. In particular, one element of that process, this process of learning, of creation, of discovery, is prototyping. In particular, rapid prototyping. Email is a great way to rapidly prototype because I can quickly jot something down, save it in a draft folder, put another pair of eyes in front of it, come back to it later, see what changes need to be made, and from there, repeat the process. And it's by repeating this process over and over and over again that we don't just prototype, but we begin to learn. Certainly that list wasn't conclusive, but it was a list of reasons I came up for why email might be a good entree into design thinking. But we can also think about some reasons why this might not be the right approach here. So as we close this mini video out, I want you to pause and think what some of those reasons might be.